Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon. So you never miss any new updates, cause whenever we upload new video you will get a notification on your phone.
Good morning students. See, today in this class we are going to study the battle of Buxar that took place in 1764 between the Indian rulers and the Britishers. Okay. Before that, in the previous classes we came to know that the British how they became politically strong in India. Okay. At major parts of the India they established their major trade centers. As you know, the Calcutta, Bombay and the Madras region. Okay. In this class, we are going to study the Battle of Buxar. Okay, before this, the Carnatic Wars took place between the French and the British. Totally, 3 Carnatic Wars took place. So, the British were successful in completely defeating the French. After that, the French left the country because they were unable to face the competition with the British in the sphere of business. Okay. Today we are going to study the Battle of Buxar. See, before studying this, let me tell you the background of the Battle of Buxar. Okay? See, Bengal was a major province. Okay? During the British time, Bengal was the major province and it was the major trade center of the British. Okay? See, that Bengal region, it was being ruled by Alivardi Khan. Okay, see, this Alivardi Khan, he was the Nawab of Bengal. This Alivardi Khan, he died in the year 1756. Okay, when this Alivardi Khan died, his son was unable to be a Nawab. So his grandson Sirajuddaulah, the grandson of Alivardi Khan. See, this Sirajuddaulah, he became the Nawab of Bengal because of the misunderstanding with the British. See, British in East India Company, it was conducting the business transactions in the West Bengal with the permission of the Nawab. So, when the British they went in the business against the commands of the Sirajuddaulah, this Sirajuddaulah he waged war against the British. Okay, that is known as the Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey. See, this Battle of Plassey, it took place in the year 1757. Okay, see, in this battle, the British Governor General he was the Robert Clive. So that Robert Clive, with the help of the military command of Sirajuddaulah, Mir Jafar, see, that Robert Clive, he sought the help of the military command of Sirajuddaulah, who was Mir Jafar. See, that Robert Clive, he offered the Mir Jafar the post of Nawab to stay neutral in the war. Okay, if this Mir Jafar, if he remained neutral in the war, the British would offer him the post of Nawab. The Nawab of the Bengal was Sirajuddaulah. Okay, so with the help of this, the British officer, the Robert Clive, he waged the war against the Sirajuddaulah. See, in 1757, the Battle of Plassey took place. But the military command of Sirajuddaulah, Mir Jafar, he supported the British by staying neutral in the battle. He did not support the Sirajuddaulah. Okay, yet he was the military commander of Sirajuddaulah, but he remained neutral in the war. He supported the British. Okay, with the help of this Mir Jafar, Robert Clive defeated Sirajuddaulah in the year 1757 at the place Plassey. Okay, and after that, this Sirajuddaulah, he was captured and was killed by the British. See, this was the background of the Battle of Buxar. See, this battle of Plassey, it stimulated the battle of Buxar. Let us say, why did this battle of Buxar take place? Okay. See, in the battle of Plassey, as you know, the Mir Jafar supported the British. Okay. See, this Mir Jafar was the military commander of Siraj-ud-Dawla, but he did not support him. He supported the British because the British had promised him to make him the Nawab of Bengal. According to the promise, the British made Mir Jafar as the Nawab of Bengal. Okay, he became the Nawab of Bengal. Okay, see, this Mir Jafar, when he became the Nawab of Bengal, he saw that the British East India Company officials, they were misusing the dastaks. Dastaks means the trade license. Dastak means trade license. See, these dastaks were issued by the Nawab of Bengal to the company, but the company officials were misusing the dastaks, means the trade licenses. So the Nawab Mir Jafar, he got angered with that. So it caused the misunderstanding with the Mir Jafar and the British. So the British, because of the misunderstanding with the Mir Jafar, that British, they removed the Mir Jafar and they made Mir Qasim as the Nawab of Bengal. This Mir Qasim was the nephew of Mir Jafar. Okay, this Mir Qasim was the nephew of Mir Jafar. So the British, they dethroned Mir Jafar and they offered the post of Nawab of Bengal to the Mir Qasim. Now Mir Qasim became the Nawab of Bengal. When this Mir Qasim became the Nawab of Bengal, he paid 2 lakh pounds to the British. 2 lakh pounds to the British East India Company, as well as a few places. As well as he gave a few places to the British East India Company. So in the beginning, this Mir Qasim, he was obedient to the company. As this Mir Qasim, after some years, he declared himself to be an independent king. And again, the British officials were misusing the trade licenses. Okay, because of this, Mir Qasim got angered. So he made the business in Bengal was duty free. Okay, he made the business in Bengal as duty free. Duty free means no one had to pay the business tax. Okay, no one had to pay the trade tax. So the business, the trade transactions he made in the Bengal, he made the duty free, means without the tax anybody could transact the business. So this caused a huge losses to the British company, because the Indian merchants, the Indian traders, they began to compete the British in all the spheres of business. So usually it incurred the losses to the company. So British got angered with that and they removed the Mir Qasim. Again they removed the Mir Qasim. Again they made the Mir Jafar as the Nawab of Bengal. Okay, again they made the Mir Jafar as the Nawab of Bengal. When the British dethroned, or when the British removed the Mir Qasim, before this he knew the cunningness of the. So that Mir Qasim, he went for an organized attack against the British. So this Mir Qasim, he went to the Indian local rulers and he sought their help, and with the combined force, this Mir Qasim, he attacked, he waged a war against the British. See here, see this Mir Qasim, he combined an organized force. See, in the organized force of the Mir Qasim, who were there? See, Mir Qasim was there, and the local rulers or the local merchants helped him, and even the Indian artisans and the Nawab of Awadh. The Nawab of Awadh region and the Mughal Emperor second Shah Alam. Second Shah Alam. This was the combined force of the Mir Qasim. See, these people supported the Mir Qasim to wage a war against the British, because even these people were cheated by the British. Okay. See, in the combined force of the Mir Qasim, there were local merchants there were, and the artisans supported him. Even the Nawab of Awadh, Shuja Uddawla, and the Mughal Emperor was the second Shah Alam. With this combined force, this Mir Qasim, he waged a war against the British at Buxar. Buxar is the name of place. Okay, he waged a war at Buxar in the year 1764. Okay, in the year 1764, he waged a war against the British. Okay, here the military head of the British was Hector Munro. See, this Hector Munro was the military head of the British. So the Battle of Buxar took place between the combined force of the Mir Qasim with the British military head Hector Munro. In this battle, Hector Munro means the British were completely successful in defeating the combined force of the Mir Qasim. This Mir Qasim, he ran away from the battlefield. These people, they surrendered themselves to the British. Okay, this was the Battle of Buxar. See, after that, what happened? Let me see the outcomes of the Battle of Buxar. See, what were the outcomes of Battle of Buxar? See, this second Shah Alam, the Mughal Emperor, he had the Diwani rights over the Bengal. Diwani rights means, see, Diwani rights are nothing but the rights to collect the land taxes from the farmers in the West Bengal. Before the Battle of Buxar, this power was under the authority of the Mughal Emperor second Shah Alam. But after the Battle of Buxar, that second Shah Alam surrendered himself to the British, and he accorded or he gave away the Diwani rights over Bengal to the British. This was the first outcome of the Battle of Buxar. Again, the second one was, see, not only the Diwani rights, all the rights over Bengal, all the rights over the Bengal were according to the British. All the rights over the Bengal were accorded to the British by the second Shah Alam with the annual fee of 26 lakh rupees. Okay, with the sum of 26, annual sum of 26 lakh rupees, the second Shah Alam, he gave away all the rights to the British over the Bengal. And the third one was the Nawab of Awadh, means the Shuja Uddawla. He was the Nawab of Awadh. Even he had also participated in the Battle of Buxar, and he was also defeated by the British. So this Nawab of Awadh also, he surrendered himself to the British, and this Nawab of Awadh, he had to pay 50 lakh rupees, 50 lakh rupees as war compensation to the British for waging war against the British. Okay, see, he had to pay 50 lakh rupees to the British as the war compensation. Okay, see, after that the they got the political power over Odisha, Bihar and the Bengal regions. See, these were the effects of the outcomes of the Battle of Buxar. First of all, the Diwali rights were accorded to the British, and all the rights of the second Shah were accorded to the British with the annual fees of 26 lakh rupees, and the 50 lakh rupees were to be given to the British by the Nawab as the war compensation. Okay. After that, the regions Odisha, Bihar, Bengal, they completely came under the control of the British. See, after this, the Robert Clive, the Governor General of the British, he introduced a dual government system in West Bengal. Okay, in the year 1765. See, after the Battle of Buxar, where all these regions came under the control of the British, this dual government was introduced in the year 1765 in the West Bengal region by the Governor General Robert Clive. What was this dual government system? See, dual government system was nothing but, see, the powers, the rights of collecting the land taxes, the collecting the trade taxes, this complete authority was under the control of the British. Means the British were responsible to collect the taxes, like the trade taxes or maybe the freight tax or any kind of tax, even the including the land tax. Okay, the British were responsible to collect the taxes, and they were collecting that tax to the British government. Okay, but the Nawab of Bengal, like the local rulers, they had the power to solve the some political issues like the justice and other things. Okay, this dual government system is nothing but the British had gained the control or had gained the power of collecting the taxes, whereas the local ruler or the Nawab had the power to solve the political issues like the justice. See, this system is called as the dual government system, which was introduced by the Robert Clive in the West Bengal region for the first time, and in the year 1765. See, this was the Battle of Buxar. So, with this, the chapter ends here. Say, you will have to try the exercise part. If you do not understand any question or any of the exercise, you can approach me. Okay? Thanks.